today, but I've just actually come across a statement that's been put out by media release statement that's been put out by Crown Lands, which I'd like to read to you. The statement says the Department of Industry, Crown Lands, has not shut down the Tea Garden Slipway, but has restricted activities on the Crown Land portion of the facility, including activities that involve chemical use to protect the environment. Tea Garden Slipway is a 90-year-old slipway, it's getting older by the day, that lacks a catchment drain. Any chemicals or materials from cleaning, anti-fouling and mechanical repair have the potential to drain into the Mile River and the Port Stephens Great Lakes Marine Park. The Department of Industry, Crown Lands, has been working with Mid Coast Council and the Tea Garden Slipway Association for more than 2 years to improve the slipway's environmental performance. The environmental impact upon the waterway and marine park from activities that might pollute cannot be allowed to continue. The department recognises that the Slipway Association has made a development application to Mid Coast Council to upgrade the slipway, and any questions about this should be directed to Council. There's a few things that might be correct in that statement, and there's quite a few things that I would say are not correct in that statement. I'll start off by saying that if you read the notice and take the notice, as it is read, it doesn't matter what they put in there as far as allowing certain activities for us to continue operate. We cannot operate while there's a threat of $220,000 fines. I'm on the phone. $220,000 fines hanging over our head and $110,000 fines for any individuals. And it's all about potential to pollute. We go to a lot of trouble here at this slipway the association's been running it for over 30 years now. It's been here for well over 60. The date really doesn't matter how long it's been here. It's been here a hell of a long time. We recognised quite some time ago that this facility, as old as what it is, has not kept pace with environmental standards, environmental laws, and the requirements that the general public, expect us to comply with. And the Tea Gardens Slipway Association, about 2.5 years, well, we've been talking about it for a while, but about 2.5 years ago, we implemented changes to our procedures here to do whatever we can to use our best endeavours to protect the environment. That river, which is our river. It's not Crown Lands River, not Council's river, it's our river, it's this community's river. And we're part of this community, and you have to understand that the people who use this facility would never jeopardise the river in as far as pollution is concerned. We look after our environment. We do the best we can with what we've got. But about 2.5 years ago, we implemented further changes to our procedures to do what we can with what we've got to protect the river. And we actually, as far as we filter the water that's coming off boats when we're washing them before it actually enters the river. Not a perfect situation by any means, nowhere near perfect enough. But it's as best as what we can do with what we've got. And so we embarked on this program to improve our environmental compliance. And what that meant, our biggest hurdle though to improve that compliance was this cradle where boats sit on. It's normally up there, it pulls right up to there. This cradle is within the tidal zone of the Mile River. And because it's in the tidal zone of the Mile River, years ago, whatever work we did, it fell into the river. Our restrictions today is that we don't do any work on the boat when the tide is impacting the cradle or impacting the boat that's on the cradle. So no work carries on during those periods. But when at low tide, like you see, it's not even anywhere near low tide at the moment, but at low tide, when the level of the river is well beyond the cradle, we put plastic sheets down and we collect all the water and we filter it before it goes back into the river. As I said, not an ideal situation, but the best with what we can do. So our proposal of what we're trying to do here is move the shed that way, probably about 9 metres or so, but that's still subject to a survey. and then extend the railway lines further, and then so as we can get this cradle right up and out of the tidal zone of the river, install catchment drains so they catch all the runoff of the water, of the waste of the water that comes off the boat after washing them. That will go into a treatment plant, and from there the treatment plant will dispose of it, we hope, into the local sewer system, as long as we meet the proper trade waste requirements. That's our plan. That's the proposal that we've put to council, and that's the proposal that council have gone out to a myriad of other government departments who all have their finger in the pie and need to have a say about all this lot. I understand that they do. They've got responsibilities and areas of control that they have to look after. We can't avoid that. That's life these days. That's regulation in living in our society. But anyway, that's the plan of what we've been wanting to do, and that's the approval process that we're slowly working through. We're getting closer all the time, and I know everybody believes, certainly within the government departments who have to approve certain aspects of this proposal, everybody believes it's gone on too long. The association the Tea Garden Slipway Association believe it's gone too long. But we've been trying to do this within our own budget with no cost to anybody else, and that's difficult. This is a huge task to try for the association to take on. We've got about 90 members at the moment. And when you think about it, this thing is not just here for maintaining boats. This is an emergency response resource. And this resource actually looks after that river. We've had boats sinking that we've put onto here and saved the day and avoided pollution. We've had all sorts of emergency incidents. In fact, we've just looked back on our records just in the last 2 years, and there's been 10 emergencies in this area that this slipway has been involved in, and dare I say, saved the day. Some of them major incidents, some of them minor, but there are 10 incidents. And it's not because of the state of the boats here or anything else. Most of them have been caused because of the weather, and we've had severe storms or whatever, and it's damaged a boat, so be it, whatever it has been. So so that's what we've been working through, but we're at the point now in trying to get through all these approvals and everything that the task is probably way too big for the association to continue to manage. We need funding, we need government bodies, be it whoever, federal, state or whoever, to step in and help us. They need to recognise that the value of this facility as an emergency response facility to this community. It's the same but I think where we're at now, there's a thing I wanted to say to you about, there's a word called tolerance. We tolerate a lot of things in our lives. We tolerate things because we look at the bigger picture as to what we have to tolerate to get somewhere else. We tolerate everybody driving their cars up and down the road and the pollution that causes. And that pollution ends up in the river. But we tolerate it because of the better good. We see the bigger picture about, well, what's the alternative? You ban all cars? What do you do? We tolerate 180,000 tonne bulk carriers coming into the port of Newcastle that have got more anti-fouling on their hulls than every single boat in the Port Stephens area combined. But we tolerate it, because if we don't tolerate it, then the export-import business of Australia stops and our country shuts down. We tolerate the fire brigade to go to a house fire and put a fire out. We tolerate that the water running off from when they put the fire out probably ends up in the river, but it ends up in places that's not under the control of the fire brigade. But what's the alternative? We tolerate it because what's the alternative? We sit back and watch the house burn down. So there's a lot of things that we have to tolerate in life, but it would certainly appear that the tolerance applied to maintaining this facility and keeping this facility gone, nobody's seeing the big picture, and that's pretty sad. Anyway, thank you for coming. I haven't even looked at my notes, but I think I've covered everything I wanted to say. I hope so anyway. And It's going to take the community to really get behind this. It's not just a boating facility and the only people interested in this is the boating public.